Hello friends of Virtuoso IQ. Today we're going to talk about the manifestations of lack of consideration in a relationship, which by the way have similar effects to those of the termites. When they attack the structure of relationships, all they leave on their path is ruin and dust. The first one is ambivalence. When we communicate ourselves in an ambivalent way, we tend to respond to questions with phrases such as maybe, perhaps, or we simply do not respond at all, which opens the door to speculations, confusion, and possible confrontations. For example, if someone asks us to do something and we don't agree, with the request, we should simply say, hey, listen, I just don't think that I should be doing that, rather than just simply stalling or not giving an answer. We should get in the habit of saying what we mean and meaning what we say. Second, irresponsibility. Whatever we say or whatever we do has consequences. We should learn to accept those consequences. It is not healthy to pretend that we will go on living forever and ever, just hiding behind excuses. A couple of examples of irresponsibility. People tend to say, oh, the dish fell and it broke down. Does that mean that the dish or the plate moved by itself? Of course not. Another example. If we promise to take someone somewhere, we should fulfill our promise. And if for whatever reason we find out that we won't be able to fulfill it, then we should call ahead of the scheduled time and advise them. Otherwise, we're just plain and simple acting irresponsibly. Lying. Well, lies constitute camouflages to irresponsibility, and they do manifest acts of lack of consideration. Far too many of us lie, thinking that when we do so, we are escaping a difficult situation. Well, in reality, what we accomplish is totally the opposite, because we get involved in a spider web of lies and deceit, and one is designed to cover the other and so forth. And as God said through the wise King Solomon, there is nothing hidden under the sun, and no deed that shall not come to light. Number 4, distrust. Distrust corrodes the foundations of any relationship. Examples of lack of trust in someone. When we do not trust somebody, there is no harmony between what we say and what we do. Also, we do not provide those people who we distrust with enough information so they can do anything on their own. We are constantly vigilating them. Distrust drives couples to lie to each other and act in a deceitful way. For example, a person may tell another, I need your driver's license to add you as an additional driver on my insurance policy, when in fact what he or she may be doing is conducting an unauthorized background check or credit profile history of that person. Distrust leads us to a speculation and assumptions. When we distrust others, we are constantly hearing and seeing ghosts. Let's say, for example, that someone tells us, go ahead and take the leadership on the planning for whatever we're going to do this weekend. Rather than simply internalizing that, we may be thinking, oh, he or she doesn't want to go out with me. Maybe she wants to go out with somebody else. Number 5, pride. It leads us to inflict pain in ourselves and hurt others. Why? Because it motivates us to say and do things that we do not feel. Also, it leads us to believe that we are perfect and that we are always right. In addition, because of that, it leads us to threaten people and to utter ultimatums. It also prevents us from asking forgiveness when we hurt somebody else. Because of all the previous reasons, slowly but surely, we find ourselves alone in a world inhabited by more than 8 billion of people. We should not harbor pride in our hearts, and we should never allow pride to prevent us from fixing whatever our heart wants to mend. And number 6, egocentrism. Ego drives us to think only of those things that are of interest to ourselves. It's as if others did not exist. We are very quick to express what we want, but we rarely offer our help to those around us. We see ourselves as the center of the universe, and we believe, of course, that everyone else revolves around us. We possess an exaggerated notion of our own worth, respect to the value of others. We are incapable to comprehend and accept any point of view that differs from ours. Only our ideas and opinions matter. We make and change decisions that impact others in a unilateral way, and of course without prior consultation. Ego drives us to think that it is always our way or the highway. Number 7, acting as if we were superior to others. That is another way in which we show our lack of consideration to others. We take everyone for granted and we do not value their contribution to our lives. We get angry and we distance ourselves from those who do not meet our expectations. We are usually on an offensive stance and we jump to conclusions without evaluating the potential consequences of our rash decisions. We tend to utilize the resources at our disposition as weapons of war. It's no wonder that we're continuously going from one interpersonal crisis to another. Friends of Virtuoso IQ, today we have shared with you the 7 most common manifestations of lack of consideration between people who claim to love themselves, namely communicating in an ambivalent way, irresponsibility, lying, distrust, pride, egocentrism, and carrying a chip on your shoulders that makes you believe that you are better than everybody else. This aberration is just a front for the fears and phobias that besiege our lives. Friends of Virtuoso IQ, in our next encounter, we're going to talk about the most effective remedies to deal with these anomalies. Until then, thank you for the privilege of your attention and time.